I'm Linda Elseywood, founder of the LDN Research Trust. It has been my honour to interview LDN researchers, prescribers, pharmacists and patients from around the world for many conditions. Thank you for joining us.
This evening I'd like to introduce Sam from the UK, who takes LDN for multiple sclerosis. Thank you for joining us, Sam.
You're welcome.
Could you tell us your MS story, please?
Yes. In March 2009, I went to work. I'd had no previous symptoms until my left side, from the waist down, seemed to be fairly numb, and I was dragging my left leg a little bit. There wasn't any pain, and I thought I had a trapped nerve or something like that. Left it for about a week, and then went to see my GP, who said he really didn't know what it was, but if it continued in the same way, to come back in another week, which I did, and then saw a locum GP who immediately said it must be some sort of spinal injury and told me to go straight to the hospital, which I did, and had several tests, including a MRI scan and a lumbar puncture, and they pretty much immediately diagnosed it as transverse myelitis, because that was my first and only episode at the time. That was March 2009. At that time, during that time, my leg had actually got much worse, and also my side felt completely rigid. Just the weight of a sheet touching it felt like I was buried under a pile of rubble, and my leg was incredibly painful, to the point that I just thought, if I don't wake up in the morning, I really don't care. The pain was excruciating. It did sort of subside for a while, and then my father saw in the local newspaper an older man had stood up on the plinth in Trafalgar Square to say that he'd found this amazing medicine, LDN, and had managed to get some for his wife, who'd been diagnosed with MS, and she'd had no movement in her arms, and after a week of taking it, she was able to use her right hand again for the first time in years. And my father said, "Whatever you do, Sam, get some of this." I did go to my GP, who basically said they wouldn't prescribe it. So I contacted Dr. Bob Lawrence in Wales, and had a long chat with him, sent him all my discharge papers. He said it was very clear that I had multiple sclerosis, and he would prescribe LDN in a liquid form, so that I could start on a very small 1 milligram dosage and work up to a sort of dosage that I felt right with, which I found at 3 milligrams, and I've never changed from that. After a period of about a year, during which time I moved house, my doctor, I changed doctors, and my GP then agreed to prescribe it, so I've been taking it in capsule form ever since. And apart from, I think, one day where I couldn't even stand up, I was very, very dizzy, wouldn't have been able to drive or anything. That lasted about 6 hours, but apart from that, I haven't had another episode. I do occasionally feel in my side there's still some rigidity, but no pain or problems. And, after having been told by the consultant in the hospital that I probably wouldn't ever walk more than about half a mile, and shouldn't ever go to a hot country, shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, would never be able to hoover my house in one day, or do any of the things I normally do and would probably have to give up work. I haven't changed anything about my life, just continue as normal. I can walk as far as anybody else. I cycle. I work every day. I work very long hours, and I've never really looked back. So I'm very thankful for it, really. And I have no reason to think that I'm very grateful to the LDN. I think without it, perhaps I would have just been left sitting on the sofa, unable to do anything at all. It is very difficult to say. It's definitely all down to the LDN, as the doctors keep telling me. They're very suspicious of it. They won't sort of agree that this is what's, caused me to have such an easy life or a normal lifestyle, which is a bit frustrating, really. And also it's very frustrating because they're never interested to do any more tests or to look into it anymore to see if, there is the same number of plaques on my brain that there was in the original MRI, because at the time it was just covered in them. And so it would be interesting to find out, but I'm not sure what I can do from now.
Looking at it, how many years did you say you've been taking LDN?
7.
7, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that MS is a progressive disease.
Yeah.
And 7 years is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And before you started, you said you didn't mind if you didn't wake up anymore because the pain was so bad.
Yeah.
So not only has the pain gone, your MS hasn't progressed, you're still able to carry on.
Yep.
I mean, how amazing is all of that?
It is absolutely amazing, and nobody would even know that I had MS or had anything wrong with me at all. So unless I tell people, they'd never suspect anything. And I do recommend it to, anyone who I come across in my working life. An awful lot of people who have, all kinds of diagnosis for Crohn's or for Parkinson's or for cancers and everything, and I put them all in touch with Bob Lawrence in the hope that, maybe, and some of them have also been taking LDN and have reported, similar, happy events. So as far as I'm concerned, it's absolute lifesaver.
That's it, isn't it? It works for you, and then you're one of the best advocates, and it goes on.
I've gone from, after being released from hospital, I just thought life was over, really, and it was all I could think about. I'd wake up in the morning thinking about it, go to bed at night thinking of life was over, and now I hardly think about it at all. So
that's wonderful.
I'm very grateful to have found it. I'm very grateful to my dad to have seen the information in the local newspaper, because without that I don't think I would have ever even come across it.
Thank you very much, Sam, for sharing your experience with us.
Okay, you're very welcome. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Do you have LDN experience to share? If so, please email me, linda@ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you.